I don't think I see that question there about Raiola for still staying for the offensive line coach. I don't know. I mean, that's a Matt Rhule decision. I don't know what's gone on between those two, and I mean, he's only been here. He's only been coaching in college at offensive line coach position for 1 year, and I don't know. I like the guy. I would like to see him get a chance, but yeah, that decision's way out of my pay grade.
All right, folks.
And people always throw around, you keep him on staff just to try to get his nephew to flip from Ohio State to Nebraska. But oh boy, we've talked about that many times before. And, if you're only winning 3 or 4 games a year, that's probably not going to happen. Especially when Ohio State makes another college football playoff. Thanks to USC. That's beautiful.
Well, speaking of which, there are 12 hard commits for this 2023 class. Do you have a good guess on where that number is going to land?
Well, when you think about it right now, like I told you about the attrition that's been happening already, I believe right now the number of scholarship players on the roster is in the 60s somewhere, like mid-60s. So you've definitely got to add a good 30 scholarship players through the transfer portal and through recruiting the high school ranks. And then obviously you're probably going to try to double that number with walk-on types as well. So, it's hard to say just to pin down a type of a number. I can tell you a target number that I think they're going for would probably be around 25 or 26 in this recruiting cycle. But you're getting a late start on it. That's the Achilles heel on this whole thing is that, you've been working your tail off right now just to retain the guys that you already have committed in this class. And now you have to go out. You added one today. That's a start. And I'm sure there'll be several more that'll come here in the next couple of weeks, as they go out and they get out on the road and start really, recruiting hard. So, yeah, I'm looking around about that number. I'll say about a 25 you want to add in your recruiting class. And then, probably a good 15 or 20 out of the transfer portal is what I would be looking at. Because, it's hard to say. It's hard to say right now until we see what's happening. Maybe I go the other way around on that now that I think about it and go something more a little closer to transfer portal and recruiting class, kind of close to about the same. But I don't know. You just don't know. You don't know. You got to talk to these kids. You got to know who's interested. And, the nice thing is that a lot of the kids that have stuck with their commitment or a lot of these in-state guys that, they're going to go play for Nebraska no matter what. I don't care what offers they had, but, legacy guys like Maverick Noonan or like a Gunnar Gatula, whose dad is a high school coach here in Lincoln. And you just go on and on about the in-state guys that have all these ties to the state of Nebraska. Sam Sledge is, he's a legacy as well. These guys were always going to play here. And they've been impressed with Matt Rhule when he came and visited them. So, it can only get better from here. Really can. I think we've seen the darkest days so far on decommitments from the class. But, who knows? Like we said, there's still coaching positions to be filled and see how the apples fall after that. And maybe, who knows? Maybe you get like an Ernest Hausman that's interested again when he finds out who the linebackers coach is and who the defensive coordinator is. But, we'll see. It's going to be fun to watch here, definitely, especially when there's no football being played on the field here for the rest of the season.
So, yeah, this speedy wide receiver Bryce Turner makes it 12 in the class, and National Signing Day is 2 weeks from tomorrow, Wednesday, the 21st.
Yeah. So
we'll be here in 2 weeks, and we'll pretty much have a great idea on what that class looks like, even though there's going to be more coming in. And the transfer portal makes it just a complete math project in trying to figure out what it's going to look like.
Yeah. No. I mean, there's still, like I said, you're sending out offers to a Keegan Johnson, who I think, obviously I think his dad Clester would love him to come and play here. I mean, we've been doing this with all of his brothers, starting with CJ and Cade and Caden, but none of them came here. But that would be a big time get right there. And, they offered the West Side kicker, Tristan Alvano, who's just amazing in the state final too. And that would be a huge get too, because you'd probably solidify your kicker spot, especially because Brendan Frankie, kicker right now, put his name into the transfer portal. So, hey, there's a lot going on. It's very fluid right now, and I would hate to be like a Brian Munson for us or any of the other writers that are trying to cover this whole recruiting and transfer portal thing and trying to put it all on paper. It's a lot easier just to talk about it than to have to dissect all this and write it up for people. But hey, this is why we're in the business right now. I mean, this is meat and potatoes time. Recruiting hot and heavy right now. And, Nebraska obviously is going to be sending out plenty of offers, every day. There's going to be a lot more offers going out. And we'll kind of see. I mean, it's like I said earlier, Matt Rhule is a pretty impressive guy when you talk to him in person. And, he blew me away last Monday when I had a chance to meet him. And, because kind of going into it, I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know if I'd like him or not. But yeah, he really opened my eyes, 8 days ago, and I'm definitely behind him 100%.